All right, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. So I know I'm a little behind on some videos, but I got a little bit sick last weekend. Not with COVID or anything. Might have just been a little bout of food poisoning. But fell behind, so we're going to play a little bit of catch up this week. So the plan is to catch up with Yona of the Dawn and then Spy Family and Kaiju today. Depending on time, I might try to get around to a few chapters of Akane Banashi as well. But if not, I will try to get caught up by the end of the month at least, because I don't think next weekend's gonna be possible. But I will hopefully by the end of the month be caught up. So hopefully by December at least I should be able to do weekly reaction reviews to the series. So look forward to that. So without further ado, we're gonna dive straight into it with Yona of the Dawn, Volume 17. We have Chapter 95, The Boy from Another Nation. And we have a few days after the five-tribe council meeting in which Suwon decided to send troops into South Kai, Yona and her friends reached an Earth tribe village near the border. And you see that they're in Chishin, I think it is. And you see you see Xena just kind of having like this content look on his face as Jaeha's like, listen, there's such a sense of vitality in Earth tribe lands recently. It's because of those valuable stones being unearthed in the Udo mines. There's tons of merchants coming and going now. And Huck is like that old man struck it rich and is like he means Gunte. And Shin is like, I figured we'd have way more goods to choose from now with all that money coming in. And the influx of people means we won't stand out as much. And you have, Zeno is starving, lad. Let's buy some meat buns. Shin's like, hang on, I bought food with me today. You have a voila. As he pulls out like a little package and goes, here, salted rice balls. And you have a yay! And they're like, it's much appreciated. It's like the fact that you scraped together this much rice really shows how hard you work. And as Yona's just kind of like holding in her hand, you have a, ooh, Yun's rice balls. And you see a swipe as someone just comes and snatches it out of her hand, comes running off with a zoom. And Yona's like, that person took off with the food. And he's like, what? As you see he's like running on with the tuck 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 tuck. You see a pew. This owl just jumps onto his face. And he's like, ah! And he falls over with a thud. And you have, ow! He's like, hold it. Hand over the rice balls. It's like, huh? It's a kid. And you see a hey! And he tries to dash off the other way. And he runs into Yona and the others instead. You have, oh, it's a child. Kid's just like twitching. And you see a gurgle as he falls down on his butt with a, are you that hungry? He's like, give me a minute. Yona just pulls out her bow, casually cocks it and just sets off a shot with a whip. You have a here as she shot down a bird and goes, take this. One of the shops over there will buy it from you. Now as he's looking at her, he goes, wow. And he starts blushing. He's like, amazing. It's like, you're such a cool woman. And Zeno's like, yeah, isn't she? It's like, I like you. Come be my wife. I was like, this is great. In my village, we can marry at 13. It's just past the river. For now, you can be my fiance. He tries to grab her hand, just like run off all jolly. Jevon, wait. And you see someone grabbing his hand and going, your fiance? Absolutely not. Yona's off limits. And Kija's like, you may only be a child, but how dare you so disrespect to my master? Jaeha's like, you've got competition, Huck. He's like, how so? He's like, who are these guys, your boyfriends? She's like, nope. It's like, then why not me? I appreciate powerful women, and I'll be good to you. Yeah, come on, Huck, you'd better speak up. It's like, if you're hinting at something, spit it out, droopy eyes. And Yona just bluntly is like, sorry, but I can't marry you. And, God, why do I keep forgetting Medicine Boy's name? For the life of me, I cannot remember it. My brain is just having like a brain fart right now. But he goes, you don't beat around the bush, do you? It's like, I can't accept that. It's like, listen to reason. Yona can't go with you. Find someone else. It's like, I can't give up. It's like, if you give up, you can have my rice balls. He's like, you're so kind. Please be my wife. It's like, I know I'm a great catch, but I'm a boy. It's like, this kid sure falls in love easily. It's like, you two might get along. It's like, highly doubtful. And you have a say. You said your village was across the river, right? It's like, uh-huh. Is it to the south? It's like, no, the west. It's like, that's Kai Empire land. The kid's like, that's where I live. It's like, you came from the Kai Empire? And he's like, yep. By yourself? Where's your family? It's like, back across the river. It's like, why'd you come to Koka? And he's silent before he goes, I wanted to see what it was like. And Yona's like, our kingdom? But after walking around for a few days, I was so hungry I thought I'd collapse. So I stole some rice. It's like, sorry. It's like, no, don't worry about it. It's like, they're the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. And he just blushes like, in that case, you better take these steamed rice cakes. It's like, you're giving away our food. It's like, anyway, what I've learned is that Coca has tasty food and good women. And Yoda's like, did you hear that, Huck? He said I'm a good woman. I've never been called that before. And he's like, if nothing else, you're a generous woman who'll shoot a bird for someone else to eat. He goes, thank you. My parents are probably worried, so I'm going home. And Jeha's like, will you be all right? It's dangerous with the troop station near the border. He's like, it's fine. There weren't many when I came over. And you see a shove. Sinha just shoves them all down. He's like, ow. I was like, what is it? Oh, Yun. That's pretty boy's name, Yun. It's like, Blue Dragon wants us to hide. It's like, you could just say so, Sinha. Jeff, what's the matter? It's like, near the river. Lots of soldiers. It's like, how many? About 100. It's like, 100? Where? It's like, there were nearly that many when I came. I stowed away on a merchant ship and it was fine. I can't see them. It's like, Sinha has sharp eyes. And Huck's like, that's odd. What brings them to the border? It's like, hopefully something peaceful like helping with the mining. It's like, what'll I do? Am I stuck here? And Yona's like, Jeha, is there a route we can take? He goes, there's one I can take and take you with me. He's like, what's your name? The little kid's like, Kalgan. It's like, Kalgan, we'll take you back to your village. It's like, huh? You'll do that for me? You'll be my bride? And Yun's like, no, she will not. See a rustle as they come across this little gorge with a waterfall. And you have, this really would be impossible for an ordinary person. It's like, right, that's why you need me to handle this. And Huck just gets onto his back. He's like, we're counting on you. It's like, oh, Huck, you're heavy. Can we break that glaive down? And you have a, what's so special about you? And you see a watch. As Jeha takes Kalkan onto his back and leaps over with a, whoa! You have a thump. And there we go. It's like, keep the secret. Now, let's rest here for tonight. It's like, you did great, Jeha. It's like, I'll gladly carry you anytime. And you see, I wish the men would jump across themselves. And you see how carried everyone across. It's like, Huck and Sinha were awfully heavy. And Huck's just gloating in the back. It's like, you know, that was fun. I should ride you more often. Yona's just watching him smile and be happy. And she's also smiling. And then you see Colgan just staring at her. He's like, Colgan, you startled me. And he's like, do you like him, Yona? She's like, who? It's like, that guy, as he looks over at Huck. She's like, what makes you think that? It's like, you keep gazing at him. And then she starts blushing as he processes that for a second. It's like, I knew it. And she's like, it's not like that. I just happened to glance in that direction. It's like, are you sure? It's like, yes. Huck is mean and unlikable. And you see him just sneaking up behind her going, well, excuse me for being unlikable. Have you been bad-mouthing me? It's like, Yona's been staring at you this entire time. Yona just blushes some more. She's like, did you need something? It's like, no, not at all. And Colgan's like, she seemed happy to see you smiling. It's like, you should have told me sooner. As he just scampers away. And Yona's just like, I had no idea children were so much trouble. And he's like, when I was smiling? It's like, listen, Huck. He just brings his face in closer and then grins and then goes, is that amusing to you? It's like, not at all. It's like, that's not what he said. And she's like, was I staring at him that intently? And you see later, she's like, I didn't get much sleep. And you see outside, he's like, what's wrong, Kalgad? He's like, oh, I'm just kind of beat. It's like, he's been walking all this time. Maybe it was too much for him. It's like, I'll carry him. And you see instead Gija comes up and hoists him on his back instead and goes, leave him to me. You're still worn out from yesterday, aren't you? And he just kind of smiles and goes, come on, I'm perfectly fine. Sinha, you carry Jeha. Sinha just bends down to get him on his back. It's like, thanks, but no. And Kalagan's like, I feel kind of bad. You've helped me so much and I just met you. And he's like, carrying you isn't that hard. Don't worry about it. And he goes, it was a short visit, but I really liked your kingdom. My village is pretty reclusive, so I don't get to talk to outsiders much. My mom and dad would have objected if I told them I wanted to visit Koka. If I'd known I'd meet such kind people, I would have gone sooner. And Gija's like, I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it, but you shouldn't disobey your parents. They won't always be around to scold you. You should cherish what they teach you. And you see everyone's kind of silent and contemplative for a minute. You have, oh, my village is just over that hill. And Zeno's like, yay, almost there. So thank goodness. South Kai sure is warm. And you see Sinha, and you have a sorry. What's going on? You have a sorry, and then you kind of, so Gija kind of pawns off Kalgan onto him, goes, take Kalgan. You have Jeha going, what's wrong, Gija? Winded already? So you're ludicrously strong, but you have no stamina. As you're seeing this, you see Gija just falls backwards and collapses. You have Gija? Gija! Gija! It's like, what's wrong? It's like, I don't know. He just collapsed. He's burning up. It's like, we need to get him someplace he can rest. Culligan's like, come to my house. It's pretty close. It's like, really? That would be a big help. It's like, of course. You all helped me so much. I'm sure my parents will welcome you. And you see chapter 96, Black Cloud. And you see Culligan. You have, Mom, Dad, I'm back. It's like, where were you? It's like, sorry. It's like, look, I bought some visitors. And the father's like, visitors? It's like, who are they? It's like, I befriended them in Koka. He's like, Koka, you actually went there? Unbelievable. I told you again and again not to go there. And he's like, we can talk about that later. One of them has an awful fever. They can rest at our house, right? It's like, this suspicious lot? You can't be serious. It's like, Dad, they helped me so much back in Koka. Please, they're such good people. And you see father just looking at Gija as the rest of the villagers are murmuring, saying, did he say Koka? It's like, fine. All of you this way. I'll prepare a place for you to sleep. And you see they're putting some wet compresses on Gija's head to try to bring his fever down. It's like, White Dragon's fever isn't going down. And Culligan's like, sorry about my parents. It's like, it's fine. They're letting us rest here and offered us food. And you see Jeha going, people here seem curious about outsiders. And Huck's like, well, Kin Province used to be part of Koka. That probably has something to do with it. And Jeva, yeah, we've belonged to Kai since the war, but my mom and dad and the older people here were citizens of Koka. They never really talk about it, but they still think fondly of Koka and the people they knew there. That's why I wanted to see it for myself. It's my mom and dad's homeland. You have an I see. You see, don't be so selfish, Kalgan. Do you have dad? It's like, what nation we're part of doesn't matter much to us anymore. When King Junam ruled Koka, we were part of his kingdom, but before that we belonged to the Kai Empire. Our village never moves, but which country claims us keeps changing. We learned long ago not to bother resisting. And yeah, but you're always looking out across the river. At any rate, I want you to forget about Koka. And you people should leave as soon as possible. And you see as the father heads outside, someone calls, hey Amoy, I heard there's some folks from Koka at your place. He's like, yes. My son says they looked out for him. They look suspicious. Are you sure it's all right? He's like, I've been hearing rumors about a group of soldiers near the river. Do you think there's going to be trouble again? He's like, I don't know. We can worry all we want, but when the great nation starts stirring up new trouble, all we can do is hunker down and wait. You see, back at Hiryu Palace, you have King Suwon. Emperor Chagwal of South Kai has responded to our demand that they return Kin Province. Please read it. And you have the Nadai-related events in your water territories were incited by a rogue group of South Kai merchants and aristocrats. We had nothing to do with it. Furthermore, we are busy dealing with North Kai and other northern tribes. We have no intention of disturbing or intruding upon Koka. Your letter was most unwelcome. And Suwon goes, I'd say we're done with formalities. General Judo, update me on the status of each tribe's troops. You have a right. You have the water tribe's priorities restoring order within its borders, as well as defending the southwest. The wind tribe is defending the southeast and assisting the fire tribe's defense of the northeast. The fire tribe has deployed one unit to defend the northeast. Most fire tribe troops, as well as the earth and sky tribe troops, are preparing to invade Kin province. Your orders are being followed and things are going smoothly. But will General Kyoga be alright? He's a very serious person and seems to be learning all he can. I'm confident that he understands the difference between governing a tribe and a nation. And you're comfortable having him on the front lines? General Gunte would ordinarily be there. And Suwon's like, I am. I dare say he will exceed our expectations in order to redeem his family's reputation. Before King Il's ascension, that area was ruled by my father Yu Han. No matter what anyone says, Koka will reclaim what belongs to it by right. And you see back with Yona's group, you have how are you feeling, Gija? It's like, I'm so sorry, Your Highness. You're delayed here because of me. It's like, don't worry about that, okay? Do you have a Yun? It's like, I still haven't figured out the cause. The medicine I gave him should have helped his fever. And you see Ao just trying to shove a chest out into his mouth to help him make him feel better. It's like, but this doesn't seem to be a simple cold. It's like, it'll be fine, Yona. Don't forget, Gija has the fortitude of a cockroach. He's like, a roach! It's like, the important thing is that you don't catch it. It's like, back up, Jaeha. Did you call me a roach? It's like, let us worry about him. Why don't you take a walk around this area? And she's like, but... It's like, you want to know more about this village, don't you? And you have a Huck. It's like, let's go, princess. And Yun's like, then I'll go get some water. And you see it now. Gija, how was your dragon arm? It's like, my dragon arm? It's like, can you use it? Well, not as well as usual, I suppose. It's like, do you think it's possible that a new dragon has been born in your village? And you see all of them kind of looking surprised by this thought. Jeff, no, I don't think so. This doesn't feel like that. Jaeha's like, I see. That's good. It's like, why did you suddenly bring that up? It's like, I wouldn't call it sudden. It's like, my predecessor died when he was 27. I'm approaching that age now. Soon a new dragon will be born. Then my power will wither away and I'll die. It's not that far-fetched, is it? God damn. Yeah, if it's unusual to hear you talk about something like that. It's like, you think so? It's like, it's refreshing to hear you discuss important things. It's like, that reminds me why I don't like talking to you. It's like, it's true that the dragon warriors aren't long-lived, but I'm prepared to give my life for my master at any time. How long I live doesn't matter. It's like, of course you'd say that. And you see a splash as Yun has apparently interrupted the conversation and dropped the water. Do you have a Yun? He's like, oh, I spilled the water. He's like, what you just said, is it really true? You dragons are short-lived? Like, come on, Yun, chin up. There's no need to get all called to get so serious. No one in the world knows when they're gonna die. He's like, I know, but... It's like, don't worry, Yun. Even when a new dragon is born, we don't die immediately. It's like, that's right. My predecessor lived for 12 years after I was born. It's like, that's amazing. It's like, besides, even with this fever, my power hasn't waned as he just smacks out his hand and hits Jaeha with a pow. It's like, Gija wouldn't die even if you killed him. It's like, of course not. And Yun's like, fine. I understand. And you see just tears in his eyes like, but I want you strange beasts to live as long as you can. You see Jaeha comforting him, going, don't tell Yona what we were talking about. It's like, okay. And you see later that night, Yona's like, I wonder how Gija's doing. Yona and the others said to keep my distance, but I want to see how he is. And as she steps out, a gust of wind blows back her hood. Oh, excuse me. You see, why are such heavy black clouds rolling in? Feels like they're coming from far away. Sounds like a storm is coming. We need Gija to get well so we can head home to Koka. And you see a thump as Jaeha steps out of the house. And you have Jaeha! It's like, Yona. It's like, how's Gija feeling? Has his fever broken? And you see Jaeha just kind of grabbing her in an embrace. And he goes, Jaeha? And Huck's walking up as he sees this. And as he's staring at this, she goes, Jeha, what's wrong? And he goes, Yona. So, and then he also collapsed. Like you see sweat streaming down his face, and he also collapses. So you have chapter 97, searching for answers. You have Jeha. Jeha. He's like, Huck. Jeha just collapsed. And he's like, he just takes his the pommel of his glaive and he starts like rubbing into his hands. Like, are you dying, droopy eyes? He's like, Huck, am I imagining it, or are you being rough with me? It's like, have I ever been gentle with you? So he has a fever. Did he catch what Gija has? And you see Huck just still jabbing at him like, hey, you dead? Like, that hurts much more when I have a fever. And you see Jeha's laid out next to Gija with a compress on his head as well. You have the next day. So that was so adorable. He's got a bunch of acorns next to him. He's just trying to force it down their mouth. He's like, Jeha, did you catch my illness? He's like, it seems so. He's like, oh, ow, wait. It's like, Your Highness, don't come in here. It's contagious. It's like, he's right, Yona. You should steer clear. It's like, isn't there anything I can do? Javin, it'll be fine. In a way, this is good. Now I know it's a disease, and that'll help me figure out what to do. It's like, Yun? And you see a scuffle. It's like, you people, did you bring some terrible illness here from Koka? Oh, what was this guy's name? The father was Amoy. And you see Colgan going, Dad! And he's like, stay back, Colgan. What if the illness spreads? Hurry and get out of here. And Jeha's like, he's right. We need to leave, Gija. You have, right. It's like, I'm sorry, you guys. It's like, your father's not doing anything wrong, Colgan. It's like, let's carry them both to the tent. And then she bows to the father as they're leaving. It's like, Green Dragon, let Zeno take your weight. Jeff, thank you, Zeno. It's like, but you shouldn't be this close to me. It's like, Zeno will be fine. It's like, Sinha, it's okay, keep back. And you see Sinha's helping Gija out. And as he does, as he's going out, he does like a little, It's like, what's wrong? It's like, horses. Lots of soldiers. It looks like a battle in the distance. It's like a war? A skirmish between warlords, maybe? And you see someone coming dashing in with, terrible news! War! He's like, what? Where? It's Koka. Koka is invading. They'll be clashing with the Kai armies soon. It's like, are you sure? It's like, why would Koka invade? Do they have a new king? Oh, God. And you see Sinha. And you see Sinha's also collapsed in pain as Gita's trying to rouse him. It's like, hey, Sinha! And you see the flag standards of Koka's empire. And you see Suwon going, are you ready, my generals? And Gunte goes, count on us, your majesty. This land was stolen from the Earth Tribe. My people couldn't be more fired up. Question is, are you up for this, little rich boy? It's your first time on the front lines, right? Yoga just kind of stares at him and goes, a commander proves himself with his swords, not his words. Also, General Gunte, could you kindly stop referring to me as rich boy? And he just laughs and goes, sounds good, rich boy. You have Judo going, Kyoga, don't take a word he says seriously. You'll lose your cool. You have Gunte going, you're the one who always takes me seriously, fool. Are you always so tense because you don't have a woman in your life? Well, want me to find you someone? And Judo's like, you? It's like, now, General Judo, why not get a cat to relax you? It's like, that's not the issue here. The soldiers is like, they're leading us into battle? And Suwon's like, now then, shall we get started? And you have a bong as they ring the gong to signal start of the war. You have all troops, attack! And you have Amoy going, again? It's like, I hope our village doesn't take any damage. The king and others in power never get hurt. It's always we little people who suffer and get trampled underfoot. Yeah, when the dust settled after the battle, there was no question that Koka had taken Kin province back from the Kai Empire. Koka fielded a far greater number of troops, in part because the Kai Empire had also been weakened by troubles caused by their northern tribes. They had far fewer soldiers to send to the border's defense. And you have Judo going, the Kai army's retreating. And you have Counselor Bro going, we settled this half a day earlier than anticipated. Thankfully, we still have plenty of supplies left. With the tremendous number of soldiers we bought, our victory was as overwhelming as we predicted. And you have Suwon going, demonstrating the immense power of Koka was a key part of this battle. Well done, General Kyoga. You led your tribe magnificently. Kyoga was taken aback by this as he goes, Your Majesty, you had faith in me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Suwon just smiles and goes, No need for that. I look forward to relying on you again. Then he gets all serious and goes, I fortified the defenses of Koka's northwestern region. The treaty with Sen province is being upheld. My people don't need to fear pressure from Kai. All that's left is... And you have later, looks like the battle's over. Seem to be heading this way, but Koka's army gained victory in just a few days. Looks like we've been spared this time then. And you see a dash as Yona's going running goes, Yun! It's like, how are they doing? It's like, they all still have pretty bad fevers. Jevon, oh. Zeno's like, not to worry, young lady. When the dragon warriors use too much energy at once, they're easily exhausted. They just need to rest up. It's like, what about you, Zeno? It's like, as the yellow dragon, Zeno's only special strength is resilience. And Yun's like, oh. It's like, so Zeno will care for them. And Yun's like, ah, you will? And you see Yona rushing inside to check on them. Or she rushes into, I guess, the tent. And you see Huck following in, just sitting next to her. You have her going, Koka was victorious in the battle. I wonder if Suwon attacked Kai because of the conflict with South Kai and the Water Tribe lands. And it's like, no. I'd guess that reclaiming Kim province was always on his agenda. In fact, what happened with the Water Tribe gave him a good excuse. By regaining lost Earth Tribe territory, he solidifies General Guntei's trust and boosts the morale of all 5 tribes. The battle was never only about expanding Koka's border. And Yona's like, you understand how Suwon thinks, don't you? And he's silent before he goes, no, I don't. And I don't want to. And Yona's thinking, if none of this had happened, if Father had been willing to go to war, Huck and Suwon might have gone into battle together. And I'll bet that I would have simply stayed put in the palace without a care in the world. He's like, if my father damaged our country, I want to make it right. And Huck goes, the responsibility for that isn't on your shoulders. You don't need to make this journey or atone for his sins. She's like, still, I want to do the best I can. But should we only care about what happens to Koka? I'm not so sure about that. I've been thinking. And she thinks about Amoy telling her it's always with little people who suffer and get trampled underfoot. To the people, the real enemy is war. Even if Suwon won, is a good king for Koka in this situation. I don't feel like siding with Koka or the Kai Empire. And you see Hucker's kind of looking at her surprised. And you see later, my head hurts. And Jaeha's like, don't say it aloud, Gija. Just makes the pain worse. It's like, but it hurts so badly. And you have poor Sinha going, hurts. And Zeno's like, are you all holding up? It's like, does it look like we are? It's like, I'm in a tent full of sick men and there are no charming girls to visit me. This is hell on earth. It's like, if it'll make you feel better, Zeno can dress as a girl. Jaeha's like, I'll pass. It's like, we're sorry excuses for dragon warriors. It's like, it's because we're so far from Hiryu Palace. It's like, what? The 4 dragons get sick if they're away from the palace? It's like, no. But Hiryu Palace is powerfully blessed by the dragon god. Other than the yellow dragon, we're not very hardy. Your disease resistance weakens until it's like a child's. And Gija's like, unbelievable. It's like, I wonder if that's why the dragon village is never relocated outside Koka's borders. It's like, well, the lad is doing his best to treat you, so if you rest up, you'll pull through. It's like, we will, huh? It's like, you know a surprising amount about our natures. Did you learn it all back in the Yellow Dragon Village? And Zeno's like, like, I should pass on whatever knowledge I can in my village too. And you see Zeno just putting another compress on his head and going, just get some sleep. And Gija goes, Zeno, there's something familiar about you. It's like, does Zeno remind you of your mother? It's like, of course not. It's like, keep it down, Gija. It's like, it means you're relaxed. It's like, there. If you need anything, just call. Zeno will fly to you. He's like, what? It's like, you're still inexperienced as a dragon. Be more reliable as he kind of falls back asleep. I'm the reject of the four dragons, but I will absolutely protect you all. Yeah, when are we getting that Zeno backstory? And you see as Zeno's looking up at the storm clouds, he goes, the battle is over, but something bad is on its way. So you have chapter 97, and you have a retreat! Retreat! It's like, what are you doing? We're retreating! And you see one of the soldiers trying to gather up his wounded comrade. It's like, give me a hand. I have to get him onto a horse. Like, don't be ridiculous. He's done for. Leave him. And you see a thud as someone spears him through the chest as they're riding by. It's like, no! Oh, God, you have chapter 98, run away. So you have curse them. Curse those Koka scum. You have in the battle for Qin province in the Kai Empire, the Koka army with their superior military might overwhelmed the Kai army over the course of several days. You have Qin province is finished. It's fallen to Koka. Sooner or later they'll establish their rule here. You see the soldier that just lost his comrades going, unforgivable. Curse Koka. I won't sit back and let it happen. I'll salt and burn it all before I let them have this land. And you see Kalgan just spying on Yuna and Yona. And you have how are they doing? Like, not so good. They can't keep any food down. He's like, oh, and I can't get any medicine here. And Kalgan's like, they probably caught the illness from me. Back in Koka, I was feeling so run down. Jehan Gijek spent a lot of time carrying me. But if Dad ever found out I was sick, he'd think I caught it from them. He goes, I'm going to go to the next town over. Should have a bigger apothecary. And he's in the neighboring town of Kinkan. It's like, sounds like a bad fever. That can get pretty serious for adults. It's like, these herbs will suppress headaches and nausea. Do you have a thank you? It's like, you all right, boy? Do you have a yeah? And you're an eek! And what's happening? And you see, outside the Qin province soldiers is racing through the village, cutting down everyone in their path. You have take food and money, take the women, slaughter anyone who resists. We'll burn this land to the ground. You have, what are you doing? We're citizens of the Kai Empire. You're Kai soldiers, so why are you doing this to us? The soldier spears him through and goes, this area will belong to Koka soon. We're not letting them have a single thing. And the apothecary's like, they're soldiers. Who survived and aimed to unleash their hate? Flee, boy. They're going to burn all the town and villages in this area. You see Kalgan heading to the window and sneaking out the back way. You have as a soldier comes stomping by. And you see later with the Kalgan! And you see Yona going, what's wrong? It's like, my son, Kalgan is missing. It's like, he must have run off. I'll help look. Oh, God, don't tell me it's going. I think it's going. And you see Yona rushing off to look for him. And she sees him running, being pursued by the soldier on the horse. You have Kalgan! And as he's like drawing his sword, like Yona knocks the bow and shoots him in the shoulder and knocks him off his horse. And he's like, where did you go? It's like, medicine. It's like, medicine? It's like, for Gija and the others. It's like, sorry for getting everyone sick. It's like, that's, and you see a clop, clop, clop as you see the soldier from the beginning going, are you the one who fired that arrow? It's like, run. They're Kai soldiers who survived the battle. Since they lost, they've been attacking towns and villages around here. And as they're clopping forward, you see Yona kind of knocking another arrow. With the shop, you see Huck coming in front to stop. In front, taking a pose as he swings his glaive around and knocks the soldier down. Jeff, you okay? It's like, yeah. They attack Kinkan, the next town over. They'll get to us soon. It's like, curse Koka. If Qin province is to become part of Koka, we'll pillage and burn it all first. And see Yona's taken aback by this. Jeff, over there! And she sees like the wave of soldiers just riding towards them. It's like, they're coming this way. It's like, curse Koka. It's like, what? What's happening here? So much hatred and sorrow are heading straight for us. I can't believe a single battle caused this. They're taking it out on people who had nothing to do with it. Jeff, your highness, get Yun, Zeno, and the dying idiots and run away. It's like, Huck? It's like, I'll deal with this. It's like, what? You can't handle all of them by yourself? It's like, I'm the only one who can fight right now. It's like, I can fight too. I will. It's like, there's no way you can face them. It's like, Huck, please, let me fight with you. He goes, you'd be in my way. Hurry and go. he goes, please don't cry. He's like, I'd never cry over anything you say. Now she's like wiping away her tears. He just grabs her face and plants a kiss and goes, I'm sorry. Forgive me, just for now. She's looking all taken aback. And he goes, okay, I'm all pumped up. And she's like, what? It's like, bring it on. And you have a, huh? And she's just looking all embarrassed. And he's like, please go. Right now your job is to protect Colgan. And she dashes off with him. And Huck goes, all right then. As he's just standing there casually with the glaive over his shoulder. Yeah, if there's an armed man up ahead. He's like, ha, what can one man do? Take him down. As they're rushing towards him, you see a whip as Huck just leaps into the air. With a swing, cuts down a few soldiers. He's like, what? He leaped while holding that glaive? Who is he? He's like, kill him! You see he dodges a sword slash and slashes down another soldier and gets on top of his horse and just starts cutting a swath through the army with his glaive on horseback. And you have, you scum! It's like, that's right, keep coming. Every last one of you. Meanwhile, everyone else will be getting away from here. I need to buy them time to escape. You see back outside the tent to have Gija going, doesn't it seem awfully noisy outside? Jeha's like, you're right. The battle's over, but I can still hear hooves pounding. Jeha, Yun! It's like, what's wrong? Where are Gija and the others? Asleep. They're still feverish. It's like, wake them up. Jeha, what? Excuse me. Hit some hiccups. The soldiers who lost the battle are attacking the towns and villages around here. Jeha, what? It's like, Huck's keeping them all away from this village, but there are too many of them. We need to get everyone out of here immediately. Zeno, take Colgan and warn the villagers. Jeha, aye. It's like, Yun, I want you to lead Gija and the others someplace safe. He's like, wait, what about you? It's like, I'm going back to help Huck. It's like, you can't, it's too dangerous. It's like, but if I don't, Huck will... It's like, all right, I'll get them hidden. Like, strange beasts or not, right now they're even less mobile than normal people. Jeha, huh? Where do they go? So you have chapter 98 end. And you have have a character popularity poll with Huck in first place, Yona in second, Jeha in third, and Yun in fourth place. So you have chapter 99, The Battle Never Ends. And you see Huck just kind of covered in blood and grime as he's still cutting his way through the soldiers. You have, crap. My arm's getting too heavy to lift. And with swish, he just like brings his glaive down to stop one of the charging soldiers. And you see him kind of collapse, kind of swaying, and he collapses with a thud as you see Gija behind him cutting him down. You have White Snake. You see him exchanging glances as they cut down more soldiers. It's like, why are you taking so long? You out of practice, huh? It's like, what about your fever? It's like, it's fine. I'm feeling better. It's like, Huck, Gija, heads up! You see a tuck, 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 tuck as JL leaps in the air and sends out a flurry of knives flying. Jeha, who are they? And you see as another soldier gets his sword cut in half by Sinha, who also cuts a swath through them. It's like, why aren't you running away? Look at you, you're half dead. It's like, your legs are shaking. You're looking wobbly too. It's like, why not go lie down? It's like, we're sick of lying down. Trade off with us, Huck. You have Gija, Sinha, you're up for this, right? Jeff, and of course. You see them kind of still wheezing. You can tell that they're still exhausted. Jeff, Yun, over there. And you see them just cutting a swath through the army. It's like, they're all there. It's like, even for them, this is ridiculous. They're too sick to be up. He's a club as more soldiers are coming in for reinforcements. And Huck's like, there's no end to them. Soldiers keep flooding in from the neighboring towns. And you see Asgi just kind of clawing through them. He staggers for a moment. And one of the soldiers kind of cuts him down. And he gets angry, kind of like slings around and cuts his sword. And you see another soldier kind of cutting Gija down from behind. You have Gija! It's like, yes, finish him off! And you have enough. And you see, as the dragons trying to cut their way to him. And you see Gija! And you see that Sinha comes to the rescue and slashes the soldiers down. Just, Sinha! Java, die! As another soldier tries to get him and he cuts them down. Ugh. You see the one that he tried to cut down, another one rides up behind him and spears him in the back and goes, I did it! I got him! And Sinha turns around and slashes him down. And you can see that they're getting all super exhausted. Oh, and he's about to take off his mask to petrify them. Yeah, Sinha, don't! You're too weak to unleash your power now! And as Sinha tries, he topples over and collapses. Yeah, now! They can't take any more! Head into the village! Slaughter the villagers! And you see them trying to just cut them down to try to stop them. They have a clop, 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 clop. As you see the soldiers heading towards Yun and Yona. It's like, huh? Wait, they're coming this way. And Yona knocks and Aaron goes, Yun, run! It's like, Yona, no! It's like, Princess, Yun, run, now! You have your highness, Yona! Yeah, stay back, young lady. Ooh. God, this get it. You see Zeno just rushing with the, yeah! You have Zeno? The hell? We don't know Zeno's power, do we? So you see him just rushing the soldier on horseback and just like tackling him. He's like, let go! And you see another one coming up behind him, slashes him across the back, and he falls to the ground, and he kind of like unsteadily stands up and goes, young lady, get to safety! And you have Zeno, stop! And you see him just... What the hell, bro? And you see him rushing towards the soldiers again. And as he leaps towards one of them just spears him mid-air. You can see all of them staring at him in shock as you have Sinha going, Zeno? You have a schlick as he falls off the blade and collapses on the ground. And you can see his blood just splattering onto Yona's face. Everyone's just shocked and taken aback by this. And Yona's like, Zeno? It's like, Zeno! And you have a soldier going, a girl? And Yun tries to step in front to protect her. He's like, Yona! And the soldier just comes and kicks him out of the way. It's like, Yun! He goes, come here, girl. And she kind of goes and cradles Zeno's corpse. He goes, come here, I said. You think clinging to that corpse will save you? And hearing that, Yona just gets furious. And she lashes out with her sword. And you have a thuck. He goes, don't you touch me. If you come near me, I won't hold back. He starts laughing, goes, you won't hold back? You? It's like she's crying, but she's saying funny things. And Yona's like, Zeno, if only I were stronger. And you see an arm going up and going, don't cry. And she's like, Zeno? It's like, Zeno was right. Hiryu Palace is too far away. Oh. God damn, alright. And you see him just kind of like rising up almost like a revenant or a zombie. And you see like half of his, I want to say uniform's not right, just clothes, like his upper shirt's like falling away. It's like healing takes longer than it should. It's like, young lady, it's alright. The yellow dragon can't die. And you see that where he's been like stabbed and slashed, like the part of his body you can see is completely unmarked. It's like, I'm the dragon who was born to be your shield. As long as the yellow dragon shields you, no one can ever harm you. Good Lord. You have bonus chapter Fly Away. You have 13 years ago, the people of the Green Dragon Village were nomads for many years. They hid the power of the Green Dragon and tried to keep the world from hearing even a whisper about it. Jeff, he's out! He's escaping! And Jeff, my role in this village, Jeff, Garo, hurry! Is to keep chasing down a 12-year-old kid. So Jeha's going to the sky again! Yeah, what a worthless excuse for a life. And you see, oh my god, you see he's been apparently caught Jeha and have chained him to a wall in a house. Jeff, hey, predecessor, when are you going to die? He just grabs his head with an irk and he goes, you're awful. Are you saying I should die, Jeha? Yeah, and then you have, you just need a little bit of water as my throat's getting dry. Yeah, his predecessor goes, your birth meant my life is drastically shortened. It's a cruel reality. It's like, shortened? Ha! Usually when a new green dragon is born, the predecessor dies within 3 or 4 years. It's like, I'm 12 already. Why don't you just retire? Every time I cut my chains and take to the sky, you drag me back down to the ground. For how many years? How many times? If you weren't around, I'd be free now. He tries to lash out with a kick, which is stopped by the predecessor, bro. I assume his name is Goro, also doing the same. As he goes free, and he grabs the shoe off Jeha's foot and pulls it off. So you can see how it's like a green scaled dragon's foot. He's like, hey! It's like, Garo, as he heads outside, he's like, how's Jayha doing? It's like, no need to worry, Elder. I've disciplined him. And you have good. Make sure he never escapes. You know what? Missed a page. Sorry. Yeah. So he goes, not too bright, are you? No one out there would accept you when your leg's like this. This creepy leg with its monstrous green scales. Even our own people act like we're diseased. If you left, you'd have nowhere to go, you little idiot. It's like, all I have here is this prison. It's like, do you think I'm going to feel bad for you? Before I was born, you were chained up in here, weren't you? Didn't you ever want to leave? And Garo goes, tormenting you makes me feel like I'll live another 100 years. I hope you keep suffering. And you see, as he leaves with the clink clamp, you see Jayha trying to like free his arm from the shackle. And then we see, Garo, how is Jayha doing? No need to worry, Elder. I've disciplined him. It's like, good. Make sure he never escapes. If word of the dragon's power gets out as it did 85 years ago, terrible people will violently attack our village. And Garo just grins unsettlingly and goes, I won't let that happen. So the green dragon is nothing but trouble. Why can't you keep your powers to yourself? If you behaved, we wouldn't have to. He goes, Elder. Oh, goes, Elder? He's like, what? Where's my food for capturing Jayha? He's like, oh, here, take that. And you see him getting a bag with like a small bag, 2 fish, and some eggs in there. And you see as he's looking down, he's like, what now? He's like, it's just that it isn't much. It's like, it's plenty, you worthless fool. You should have never lived so long. He's like, sorry. And you see him just kind of taking the food and walking back. He takes a step with a shunk. His leg strength gives out on him and he falls to the ground. Oh, man. And you see him just punch. You see him going, feels so heavy. I can't move my dragon leg. Could it be? And you see him just kind of standing menacingly over Jayha that night going, am I going to die? The kid's draining away my power, my life. I'm long-lived, but I still... And Jayha's kind of groggily waking up going, who? It's like, I want to keep going. It's like, I don't want to die. Oh, God damn. And you see him just pounding on, wailing on Jayha. He's just screaming, Jayha, curse it! And you see Jayha just looking at him like face just completely beaten and bloodied. It's like, I'm despicable. It's like, are you done? It's like, how can that be enough? I want to kill you. And Jayha's like, I hate you, but when I hear you scream, my heart feels like it'll burst. It's like, stop. It's like, how can you say that? Are you unbalanced from being hit too many times? It's like such troublesome blood. My pain, my heartbeat, he can tell. He's the last person I'd ever want to know. And you see a clack as Jayha lifts up his dragon leg and effortlessly just kind of frees himself from the shackle and destroys the chain. And with another crack, he smashes down on it. And you have a bonus chapter. This is a story about Jayha's childhood. Although in practice his predecessor Garo seems to be the protagonist, I want to spend a little bit more time drawing it. Jayha likes beautiful things. He likes his clothes and his powers, but he doesn't really like the way his dragon leg looks. He rarely removes his shoes, and he keeps his legs wrapped up the same way Gidra wraps his arm. Gidra, on the other hand, doesn't dislike his dragon arm, but he wraps it up because the people in his village, especially the granny, taught him not to let anyone find out about it. You see Garo going, with his dragon leg he broke the chains that easily? My power's gone. It's all Jayha's now. He goes, are you leaving? And Jayha goes, you can't come after me anymore. Garo's like, don't mock me. There's life in me yet. Stopping you won't take any effort. And he tries to balance on a leg and kick him. And Jayha just effortlessly blocks it and knocks him down. It's like, how? I retrained this power these past 12 years. I can't believe it could just vanish like this. And you have it, I'm just trying to stay up, like, get up. Jayha just, like, kicks him in the back and knocks him down again. It's like, what now? It's like, you must think that I'm pathetic. It's like, are you going to leave? So you're laughing at me in your head, aren't you? It's like, you're not pathetic. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was reading the other line of screaming. It's like, you're not pathetic. It's like, don't pretend you're not laughing. It's like, no matter how badly the village elders treated you, you never used your dragon powers to hurt them. It's like, because my whole life I caused problems for them. Yet, they still looked after me. It's been a living hell, but I had nowhere else to go. I left the village only once when I was 15. After I finally escaped the village I'd been bound to, I realized, especially now that I was free, that there wasn't anyone or anything I wanted to see. I'd heard legends of the Crimson Dragon King and had always hoped that he'd come for me one day. But that hope had vanished. I see. I truly am unwanted. My existence suddenly felt empty. At that moment, I suspected a new green dragon had been born in the village. I don't know how I knew. I feared that my life was about to end, so I desperately raced back to the village to see if it was true. And he goes and sees little baby Jeha with the dragon foot. And you have his dragon legs so small. It's like, since that day, that kid has been the only one I could talk to. As Jeha's walking through the door, Garo goes, this is how it ends for me. I've lost my powers, and the one person who could understand, I'll never soar through the sky again. And as he's leaving, Jeha holds out a hand and goes, let's go. Come with me, Garo, into the sky. Fly with me. And you see him just kind of starting to tear up. It's like, what are you saying? It's like, your face is a mess for me beating you. How stupid are you to ask me? It's like, I'm so close to death. And you hear we can't allow that. And you see the village elder surrounded by some of the people knocking arrows, going, we can't permit you two to leave. You have elder. It's like, I told you, when word of the dragon power got out 85 years ago, people from our village were captured and tortured by those who wanted the power for themselves. This is our law now. If you try to escape Jeha, we'll shoot you down. Yeah, but don't move. Do as we say and you won't be harmed. And you see Garo just rushing towards them with a yell. And as he leaps towards them, he's like, oh, what? It's like, stop! What are you doing? Stop it! And you see Garo going, Jeha, you idiot! Who'd want to go with you? I'm sick of looking after kids. Get out of here! Go off somewhere on your own. Fly away! And you see the other villagers trying to restrain him. He's like, I'll hate you! It'll be a relief to have you gone. Don't ever come back, you idiot! And you see tears just streaming down his face. As Jeha takes off running and just leaps into the air. He's like, he's out of arrow range. Excuse me. After him. You see Garo just swaying with a thud as he falls over. Oh, man. You see there. See? Arrows can't reach you. No one can challenge you. Fly away as far as you can. It's like, my sight is getting dim. Wait, curse it. Let me see him a little longer. Green Dragon God. I protected him all this time, didn't I? Take care of Jeha. For a while. Please. Protect him. Ooh. Alright. Oh, man. So... Again, not like too much to say or set up with regards to most of the chapter, because then it's kind of set up like, we're doing like the whole new arc stuff, get to new area, explain what's going on, kind of explore it, meet the new cast, etc., etc. So not really like too much to comment on with regards to that. At this point also, again, like I feel like we're getting a little bit repetitive, like we're kind of going through like the same comments and arguments, I think, a little bit over and over again, like, yeah, war is bad, the everyday people kind of suffer for it, It's kind of has like a corrupting influence because the soldiers are so... soldiers are so corrupted by it, they're starting to lash out at anyone to kind of take out their anger on... take their anger and like their disdain on, because, that's the only way they can kind of fight back, because they feel so powerless to kind of fight back against the Empire. So they kind of lash out at anyone else nearby to kind of vent their anger and their rage towards someone that they do have power over. So, I mean, I'm hoping we get like a little bit more development and stuff with that. Because kind of again, Yona's kind of been like repeating the same mantra over and over again of like, yeah, I can't believe I've been so sheltered all this time. I can't believe I didn't know about how terrible war was, etc., etc. So it's like, all right, I get it, but again, I feel like I want to see like a return, or at least like a nod to like what the larger plot developments are that we're gonna see, like what her eventual like end goal is. Like I get at this point, like she's still kind of exploring, trying to find out, what her position is now that she's not officially a princess, and what she wants to do, what she's trying to set out to do, how she can accomplish and like achieve all these goals. Like get what like setting up for that. But yeah, like this is just like enough variety, I think, to keep some of these volumes kind of compelling going forward. So hopefully we see a little bit of change with regards to that. Apart from that, we finally get what Zeno's whole deal is with his dragon power, which out of all the other ones, like is kind of like the most heartbreaking. It's like, oh yeah, like the other dragons, like yeah, they were abused and like hounded and all that, like all and like mistreated, but at least they had like ways to defend themselves if they so chose. Or the fact that Xenos power is kind of a more of a passive thing. It's like, all right, he can't really do anything to defend himself, but he's able to like heal, regenerate from all these wounds. There's definitely a lot more tragic element to that, I think, compared to the other dragons. So I'm curious to find out what exactly like his story is going to be, like how he discovered his powers. Because again, I don't think that's something you can really kind of stumble into learning. That's something you kind of just experience one day, is like either that, or I suppose it could be something he learned if it's like the other dragon villages. No. It actually brings up the question of like, if he's functionally immortal, is he technically still the first yellow dragon that's just never died? Or does like the yellow dragon, if they take enough damage, like if they get their heads chopped off or they get like all their limbs chopped off, would the dragon technically die then? That brings up interesting questions, but I think that was by far the most interesting part of the chapter. Also, like kind of the tragedy of the whole dragons thing, like where they're kind of born into these roles that they never asked to be a part of, and they kind of have to like wait and suffer for it, and they kind of like lose a sense of like their individuality and purpose. Their entire meaning and purpose being born is being like, oh, you're here to serve, Yona, you're here to protect her, all that stuff. So I hope we delve a little bit more into that, or at least with Yona questioning, the impact that's had on their lives, and like how much pain and like suffering they've gone through, and like what the point and I guess purpose of all that is. But yeah, again, like we'll have to see. I think that's something we'll have to wait and see, like how that pans out and looks into. But yeah, I think of all the volumes, this is the one where I've been like, yeah, it's been the least engaging so far, but hopefully it gets to something better from here. Yes, I think with that said, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my plan is to get to Yona Of The Dawn Volume 18 today as well. And then depending on time and everything else, I'll hopefully try to get to Kaiju and Spy Family today. Looking at the time, I probably won't get to Akane Banashi, but I'll try to get to a couple of chapters this week. If not, next weekend I'll do the same thing of doing like 5 chapters a day, which should hopefully get me caught up to almost the recent stuff. So like I said, hopefully by the end of the month I'll be fully caught up with that. As always, if you like the content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Especially like, commenting, subscribing, pushing the buttons really helps me with regards to the algorithm, with regards to promoting my content. So until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.